Hey, good evening. Alright, what are we going to take a look at here tonight? Alright, I just picked up this Yonezawa Space Beetle number 2. It was part of a series, 21st Century Space Series. I believe there was 4 vehicles. Of the 4, I think this is like the only one that's really attractive, if you could say that. Anyhow, I unboxed it. Everything looked good. Put some batteries in it. Went across the floor about 2 feet and the track's broke in half. So, these tracks are very fragile. You can see where there's been previous repairs done on the tracks. Super glued, which, that's fine. But the sidewalls on this track are so thin that the super glue is not going to hold up. Well, for one thing, that glue is not flexible. So if you bend super glue, eventually it's going to crack. So what we're going to do is we're going to retrofit some other tank tracks or treads. Whatever you're working with, you can probably go on eBay and find a track that'll fit your vehicle. However, these tracks are not made out of a true vulcanized rubber. They're more like a plastic. So they're very rigid, and they're just not going to work on a lot of different types of tracks because they won't track. They're not flexible enough to track. And they draw down on the motor because of that. So I've got a pretty good collection of treads and tracks for various types of toys. But this one here, I found a set of tracks that look similar in design. It's pretty darn close. It's the same width. The only problem is that they had the tabs on the bottom. You can see them right there. For the grousers. And this particular toy does not use that type of tracking for the track itself to keep the track in the center. It uses a crowned drive wheel and sometimes the bogies. You can see right here where there is the center is raised. That keeps the track from riding up on one side or the other, so it keeps it pretty centered. There's other types too, but we won't cover those. So what I did is I cut the track in half, and then I ground off all the tabs for the grousers. Okay, and then you wrap it around. I'm not going to lift that up. You wrap it around until you get your length for the track, and then cut it off there. These have to be pretty straight. So once you get them ground off, you can go ahead and sand them down, and that rough texture is going to help you anyhow with the super glue. So I'm going to tell you right now, that's not all that we're going to do is use super glue. We're going to put a backing inside the track that'll actually absorb the tension that's induced on that seam, so the super glue doesn't crack. Now, I'm going to use material that's made out of cotton. You could use an old shirt, any type of underwear that are at least, I'd say, 50% cotton, because the glue that we're using will adhere a lot better to the pores in the cotton. So let's see what we got here. I'm not liking that. So, where are my scissors at? I'm going to trim that down a little bit. That's much better. Okay. That's a good match. Okay. So, what I did was, earlier this evening, I took a piece of cotton material and cut it out to basically the same width as the track. So you're going to use some, where is it here? Oh, that's not it. Oh, there it is. I'm using 1357 glue. Okay, I don't know if Dow makes this or who. 3M does. Okay, it's basically contact cement. Put a little dab here on our Cheerio box, which, by the way, cereal boxes are great for work surfaces. Okay. Make sure that this overlaps on a track this size, at least, I'll say ½ an inch. Okay, let that dry for a minute. Well, not dry, but become tacky. This glue is a lot stronger for something like this than super glue would be. Okay. Lay that down. Press it for just a minute. That one's tight. Now, when you're cutting this material, it's directional. So make sure that the lines in the material, you don't want it to stretch. See that? You want to go the opposite direction from where the lines are in the material. You want to follow those lines around the radius of the track. Okay, so we got that side done. Come over here. Get a little bit more glue. Don't need that anymore. Let that tack up. I hope you guys can see this. This is one that I've finished. Okay. Now, that's going to match up pretty good. Let's get our super glue here. You don't need much. Okay. Lay that bad boy down. Press firmly. I'm going to hold this for a little bit, or if you have some zip kicker, it's okay to hit it with that because we have our backing. because when you use a zip kicker, it actually makes it more rigid, so more likely to crack. Once you get this glued together, you can take a file or a piece of sandpaper and file the seam and hit it with some paint or, you know, semi-gloss, something like that, or a permanent magic marker works too. Okay, that's looking pretty good. You can see on the inside. Now I'm not going to tug on it now until this sets up overnight. But there you go. Have fun repairing your toys.